name's Kaleb. Glad you're here.
We're glad you're here too. Yeah.
I did Lexington and Concord because I missed it that day. I was out sick, and I thought it would be a cool thing to do. I started off with George Washington, but you had so many big parts, so many stands. There was too much. So I picked a battle, and then I realized Lexington and Concord would fit really well, considering the fact it was the first time the people stood up against the British.
I'm just going, sorry, I'm paging up on mine.
I know, sorry. You're our first.
So you said you weren't here on the day that you guys studied like the Battle of Lexington and Concord?
Yeah.
Did that make it harder to find like information or?
No,
No.
made it so I could know more on my own.
Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely. Okay. So, tell us about your experience when you went to the Oklahoma State Library.
It was
Kinds of sources.
There's so many books. I seriously had a hard time finding where the books were.
Yeah, like the actual
Sometimes they're
physical.
up there, sometimes they're down there,
Yeah.
sometimes they're in the middle, sometimes they're huge and you couldn't take them home. So I did get pictures of inside of one book, but I never used it. I don't know why. I don't think I could put it into the project.
Well, that happens quite often in historical research. You find resources that look like they might be good, but then it turns out they don't really fit.
I did find a book that it looked cool. It was like old and it was about like general gauge, but it was all one-sided. I really didn't want to base my information off just one side. I wanted to have it neutral, show both sides.
That's important though.
I was curious about your use of the website. I noticed in your process paper that you mentioned that you don't feel like a very strong writer necessarily in terms of writing papers for school. So can you talk a little bit about how this helped you work through the project in a different way than writing a paper would have? Like, what did you find to be most useful or interesting about making the website itself?
Well, I could use pictures from anywhere. I didn't have to really look hard. Like I didn't have to draw it out. It makes it easy for me. I'm not that great at writing. I am horrible handwriting, and I'm not that good at making really long, detailed paragraphs. I quite have a hard time with that.
What about just building the website on its own using Weebly? Did you find that, like, talk to me a little bit about that?
Sometimes, because of the internet, there was problems and it wouldn't work. It would take too long to load. But other than that, I was okay with it. I could use it easily. Just wish I had a little bit more control where I could put, where I could put the text box or where I could put the pictures. But I just had to roll with it.
Did you ever find, did you struggle to find information about, like, for the three writers, and you talked a little bit about each one. Did you have any trouble finding information about them?
For the third one, Dr. Samuel Prescott, I couldn't find any information on him. Like, I looked, and it was only about the ride. That's how he was the mystical third rider that nobody knows much about, except for the fact that he kind of was the only rider who made it to Concord to warn the people. Because Paul Revere and William Dawes were both captured. Well, William Dawes made it back after, but Paul Revere, he had to wait it out, and then they let him go. That's how confident he was.
I know, because I'm going to go ahead and tell you my bias. I'm a librarian. So I always say, if you struggle finding information about somebody, you always want to check with another resource like a librarian and say, hey, is there someplace I didn't look, maybe that person can help find research. And sometimes there's very little, I don't think, I think you're right that there's very little known about that William Prescott guy. Yeah.
I did have a little problem. I used the wrong Weebly one. I used the other Weebly where you had to pay at first, so I had to get all my information back onto the regular project.
Yeah.
And then I accidentally deleted a whole paragraph off, so I had to retype it.
Oh no.
But I rolled with it. Maybe it make it a little bit better.
I also noticed that you corrected a sort of generally misheld conception that Paul Revere made it all the way to Concord. So can you talk a little bit about the process of discovery? Like, did you feel surprised that you learned something that generally people sort of misremember from history?
I never knew. I always thought Paul Revere made it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he got captured, and then, you know, in the end, it was Dr. Samuel Prescott who made it. The website I used to look up more information on him, he said, Paul Revere said that Dr. Samuel Prescott was courting with a woman at the time. He was nowhere near where they were. Well, the truth is, he was writing back to Boston when he heard about it and started and Road to Concord. That's why on my map here, right here, you can see how the purple only starts here, while the blue has Paul Revere and the green is where Renata started here. That's why the purple here, where Dr. Samuel Prescott starts here, but it doesn't go anywhere else. It goes right back here.
Did you make this yourself?
No, I found it on Google. And then, since so many people know about them, I really didn't want to do much about them. But Dr. Samuel Prescott, he was the one first figure that nobody really knew much about. So I wanted to go on about him.
I think that was good. I mean, I was impressed too. It was like, this is such a well-known story, but everyone seems to know it wrong. So I thought this was a really good topic to choose and go into that.
Is there anything that you want to show us that was maybe your favorite part, or something that you feel like you'd like to speak more about than was included in the website?
Right here, this quote right here, what are you waiting for? Are you going to let them burn down the town down? It was in my book, one of my books, and I really liked it. Like, he was pretty much, he didn't like order them to fight, but he said, ask them, what are you waiting for? Let's go fight and get them out of this town and burn them down. And the fact that they ripped up boards of the bridge, which I think they thought that was rude. That's why they call it by the Rude Bridge. The fight by the Rude Bridge, because they thought that was really rude. But they made sure that it was enough just to slow them down, not to make it impassable, because they wanted a fair fight at least.
Yeah, it's really these little details that give us like the memorable story, because I think those are really excellent things to include here.
The one thing I did miss is I forgot to tell about the curve where when the rebels pushed them back and had them retreat to Boston. Along the road, the rebels would pop up and shoot at them, and then on the last curve, they fired rapidly. Many people were there waiting for them, and it became really bloody. But the British were a little bit prepared for them, and they fought back. So it was a really bloody curve, and there was a lot of casualties, both on the British side, more on the British side than the American side.
And so why do you think that this example of taking a stand is relevant and important for us to learn about?
Because if we didn't have this, nobody would have saw this and thought, why don't we fight back? Why don't we get our rights? Why don't we get our freedom and become, American?